Hi, I'm Mike Collins, and today I am going to show you how I go from light to dark theme automatically using a little bit of CSS. So just to show you that this is back here is Chrome, this is Safari, this is Firefox, this is Opera, and this is Edge, and this is on Mac. I'm pretty sure it works on PC as well. All right, so let me just get rid of these. This is the one that I just showed you. This is the one we're going to be working on. So if I bring back the system, switch to dark mode, you'll see nothing changes. So we're going to change this one to automatically go from light to dark. So the first thing we have to do is set a few things up. And if we go into Bubble, this is the page we'll be working on. We want to go into Settings, and under General, we want to make sure that we have this checkbox checked. So this is the general appearance area, but since there's so much space around this, you can just look for favicon, and it's this check box over here. So what this does is expose the option to add an ID to HTML elements. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we have to go and get this plugin called Classify. So there it is. Install it. If we come to the plugin page, you can see it's really simple but very powerful plugin. So we just have to add it. We don't have to do anything else from there. The instructions for it are on the service link. And mainly what we're going to be doing is add class and then adding your class. You could do things like remove class, add an ID and a class at the same time. But we're mostly just going to be doing add class. Okay. The other important thing is colors. So the way that I have chosen the colors that I'm using is to come up with some colors or color inspiration, like Coolers. Coolers has a generator that you can start. And if you like a color that shows up, you can lock that color. Then you press the space bar and it comes up with other colors that would work well with that color. So if you liked this one, you could do that and keep going on some more. Oof. Yeah, not all of them are winners, but they also have what's trending. Explore trending palettes. And so you can run through these. And I'm pretty sure that I got these colors from that. They also have these tools. We'll be working with the contrast checker. Because what we want to do is make sure that the colors that we've chosen that work well in light mode will work well in dark mode. So some of these are going to be the inverse of what we're currently using. So at the moment, This is the page, and you'll see that it's off-white. It's a percentage of this green. So what we're going to do is look at the dark color and what we're using for the light color for the white. And so you'll see that the contrast is really good. Small text and large text. Great for all text sizes. And so this is important because, you know, we could just go all white and all black. However, and that'll be the best contrast. Well, the highest contrast. It's not the best contrast. Because some people, if they have some vision issues, astigmatism, they will see that there could be these halos around the text. And so that makes it much harder for them to read. So we really want to be able to design our color scheme to work well for people with vision issues. One thing that happens to me in light mode, if I'm sitting there reading on the screen for a while and then I look up, everything's kind of blurry. Myopia, I think that's called. And it stays that way for, it could be hours, depending on how long that I've been reading. And I just learned today that if I did just read in dark mode, a good dark mode, then that wouldn't happen as much. I have to test that out. So I don't know if that actually works, but there you go. So what is the next step? So what's the next step? The process that I generally use is to design the entire page first and then take portions of it and make them into reusables. So this header is a reusable, the footer is a reusable, this featured products is a reusable. These are the only things that are really left on the page, and that will give us a good starting point to see how well we're doing starting out. So in Atomic Fusion, in the code locker, I have a starter style. What I have to do, I think there's a little bug in Atomic Fusion, because whenever I just copy CSS, it doesn't work, but if I highlight it and copy it, and now I'll bring it back, and I'm going to pop a HTML element on the page. Let's go into the HTML editor, paste in the style. Just quickly, we'll go to layout. We'll make this not visible and collapse on page load, or collapse when hidden. So let's take a look. Yes, I kind of cheated. I had a little difficulty until I figured out that I couldn't just copy. I had to highlight and copy with my keyboard. So as you can see, the background now is a charcoal gray. The text didn't change. I can get rid of this right now. So you would think that because we put in color, which drives the text color, that it would change the color of the text. It doesn't. And you'll notice from our example of the home page that we're trying to copy, the background is darker. And the reason being is because this style for the page is an overlay of 20%. So if we look at the styles and I go to page light, which is what I'm using. It's the light green color at 20%. And so now what we're seeing is dark, almost black coming through that 20%. If we want to change this and make the background darker, what we have to do is target the page, this page class right here. And while we're here, let's look for some text. Image. Button, found buttons. Image. Did I put in? I'm sure I put in text. This is text. So let's inspect that. All right, here we go. See, we have text. So let's target the page and text. So we'll go back to our HTML editor. I'm going to put a comma, dot page. And then I'm going to do the text as a separate line. So dot text, I'm doing the capital letter the way that they have it. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't work. And I do have to put important. Okay, so let's see what we have. Great, so now our background is dark and our text has changed. And so you'll notice down in the footer, we're not changing the color of the footer, but I do want to target this text down here. So this is this is the regular footer. So this leads us into using the classify plugin. So let's go take a look and I'll show you what I mean. So if we highlight this down in the ID attribute, we have add class my text dark. So if we go back to our dark, our HTML, we now want to create that class in the style sheet, my text dark. And you can name these anything that you want. The reason I'm putting my in front of it is so that when I look at the code that's being written, I can target that or find it pretty easily. So we're going to keep the dark text. Keep forgetting that important. And I do have to spell it right. Important. And close. Oops. It's the other thing about having a microphone in front of your keyboard. Okay. So there we go. There's that. Let's do the card. This I did make a copy of, so it's featured items dark. We want to go here. We want getting the attribute. Let's just double check. Yep. So we're targeting the card. So we want to add class colon quotation my card. Close curly bracket. It'd be faster if I duplicate this, tab, so that I can go back and forth. Of course, what ends up happening is that I will do it from the same screen I'm in, forgetting I copied it or duplicated it. Okay, so now let's add my card. Oops. Better, you can put everything in this area of the appearance panel that they give you, but it's better to use the HTML editor because it will do spacing and give you the color feedback. Hopefully you're not colorblind, to show you that you are doing things correctly. So now we need a background color. And it needs to be a bit lighter than what I'm using, which is the 000411. So I'm just going to open up Photoshop for a minute. You could probably use anything else. You could probably use coolers as well. So 000411. Okay. Oops. So now let's, I want to add a layer above that. So we'll have the background white. And let's just sort of bring the opacity down. Until, ooh, actually, you know what? RGB 0417. So we'll do RGBA 0417 0.8. Important. And we'll close. Let's see it. What we have. Oh, of course that's not going to work. Because it's transparent. Okay. So let's try 80. And we're going to flatten this. And now we have a new color. So 333641. Three 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 six four one. Save. That's good. Could be a little darker. So let's undo the flatten. And we'll do 85. Two 262 934. Much better. Okay. So now these stars are icons, and they're a bit dark. So what we can do, or what I've done, so I'm going into the style, look for my icon. Standard, and so dark. So what it was, the icons are the 000411, so the almost black color. And what I went and looked for was a medium gray. So this medium gray is 939799. And so that'll show up both in the dark mode and the light mode. So now all I have to do is go into the reusable that I'm using, which is the product ratings, and change this out to be the standard icon style. I did try and change it with CSS, but since I have these conditions on it to change the color for the ratings, it just changed the whole thing. It wouldn't just change the outline color. So that's why I've gone with now changing the color of the icon itself. So what's left on the page is this input, and then we'll do the header. So let's go back to the page. It's input. We're going to go down to the ID attribute, and we're going to add class. Oops. My input. So if we actually look at what it is right now as far as color goes, we have the background color RGBA 225, 239, 230 at 10%. So we're going to just use that 225, 239, 230. So my input back on the HTML editor. Background color RGBA 225, comma 239, 230, comma point 0 point, let's go 5, which would be 50%. Right now it is 10%. So putting my important semicolon, then closing out. So let's take a look. And that did nothing. So my input background, oh. Spelling is important. There we go. That's better. You can also change the color of the text. So let's just do that. We'll use this color. Just copy the whole thing. And we'll add it on the next line. Okay. So now we're ready to move on to the header. So I'll open the other tab. Go to header dark. And again, here we are doing the add class, taking advantage of the classify plugin. And I'm just calling this my header. And then I always use SVGs for as much as I can for the images. And so we want to filter these so that they change color. So let's say my SVG, and then that way I can reuse this on the other SVGs that are on this. So let's copy this, add it to the bell, and we'll add it to the chevron. And then the last thing on the header is this outline button. Let's just paste that in there and change this. Change out the SVG. Outline button. Okay, back to our styles. So we'll do my header first. And this is just changing the background. We'll use the card background. And then we can close that out. Let's do the SVGs, my SVG. And here I have to go to this handy dandy little CSS filter in CodePen filter generator. So we want the E1, EF, E6 color So I'll put that in the target color. Compute filters. And it even gives you feedback. This color is extremely off. Run it again. And then we can run it till it says, oh, this is perfect. So then we want to copy this filter part. Paste that in. I don't think I need important, but let's see what's happening so far. Here we go. I don't need important. So this filter is generating the settings from a black SVG. So if your SVGs are any other color, then you could, I think you can change around some of the code in here to get it to go from whatever your color. Or, yes. So if you're good with code, you can do that. Or you can just make your SVGs black, and then you can have it change, give you a filter setting for a light mode and dark mode for whatever color that you need to get. Right now we're not seeing these two signups because we're signed in. But if I log out, it's going to home, which I've already done it there. So let's go back to the dark. So it's still this dark color. So we need to change one last thing. So it's my outline button. So it's border. And I found that I actually have to put in settings for it. Let's just inspect it. Oh, it's 2. So it's 2 pixels, solid. Oops, solid. And then EF. Oops, E1, EF, E6. Important. Oh, and then color for the text. All right, let's see what that's done. There we are. We are all done. So now you may be wondering, do I need the body? Can I just get rid of the body? Is it absolutely necessary? You can get rid of it. But what happens is that you see the white, original white background, or the default background there. So we'll put the body back in. Body. And so now that we have this, I can right click on it, convert it into reusable, And then I always like taking off the color. I don't know why they put a color. Because it shows up whenever you place it in the page. Okay, so now I can go to header dark. And I can add my HTML styles to just make sure that it is not visible on page load and it collapsed when hidden. Go back to this page. See, I told you I end up with the same thing even though I have two tabs open. So now I'm going to get rid of the HTML on the page because it's in the header. And we should see no difference. And we see no difference. Perfect. So now any page that has this header will have the dark mode. You just have to make sure the elements on the page have classes assigned to them. And then the ones that don't have that header, you can just use the HTML reusable and place that on the page or somewhere in it. And that's all I got. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have other ways of doing this or a more efficient way, then I'd love to hear it. Thank you.